AIB, the company that puts up comedy online, has gotten itself into trouble again. This time for using a Snapchat filter on a photograph of the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. As things stand right now, an FIR has been filed against AIB for defamation. The question we're asking this evening, is there a line really? A dotted line perhaps within our rules of freedom of speech and expression, or is this allowed? Where does the law stand exactly on what AIB is doing? And we should also ask at this point, for a company and for a group of people that's constantly getting themselves into trouble, is AIB doing it for publicity? Or are they simply being funny and should we just laugh it off? Well, Tanmay Bhatt from AIB, who put up this image, also put out a tweet. And he said he's going to continue making jokes and then deleting them if necessary, and then making jokes again, and then apologizing if necessary. Don't care what you think. That's what Tanmay Bhatt has said. Don't care what you think. He will continue to make jokes and delete them if necessary. The visual of the Prime Minister with the Snapchat filter of the dog on it has now been deleted, but the FIR has been registered. So here's the question that we're asking you, that I'm asking you today. Do you believe that AIB took it too far? Do you believe that freedom of speech and expression allows them to make jokes? Or is there a special rule or law that should prevent people from making jokes about maybe the Prime Minister of the country and other such important leaders? Our phone lines are open and I welcome you to join the conversation. But in the studio with me, talking about this, Anila Singh, spokesperson of the BJP. Babu Bhai is the former deputy mayor of Mumbai, also representing the BJP. Pallavi Singh is a fashion blogger. Kashyap Sarup is a stand-up comedian and an author. Sujay Kantawala, senior lawyer. Aditya Pratap is an advocate. They bring in the legal point of view. Sunil Pal is a comedian. And Ramakrishnan is a member of Think Right. I welcome all of you to this conversation. But first, let's take a look for our viewers who don't know what's going on and what this entire controversy is about. Take a look.
Stand-up comics AIB are being roasted. An FIR has been filed against the company for tweeting a post on Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Against AIB has been registered at Cybercrime Police Station. Investigation is going on in this matter.
The comics Snapchatted a Prime Minister Modi lookalike with him with a dog filter. The tweet shows a Modi lookalike standing at a railway station with a duffel bag and is tagged Wanderlust. The meme instantly went viral, but not in the way AIB would have hoped.
It clearly shows that every 2-3 months, because AIB gets out of business, and that is why they come forward and come with such type of comedy.
Tanmay Bhatt, he's a serial offender. At the cost of sounding cliched, let me repeat, ad nauseum, I will say this for anyone who cares to hear, that there is a very thin line between having a great sense of humor and being offensive.
Modi supporters on Twitter were not impressed and roasted Team AIB. AIB deleted the tweet. Founder Tanmay Bhatt used Twitter to make a case deploring the lack of rational reasoning, but the damage was done. One Twitter user, Ritesh Maheshwari, tweeted to the Mumbai police and the commissioner about this obnoxious prank, which ultimately led to the FIR.
The cyber branch of Mumbai has filed an FIR against a comedy group AIB for allegedly insulting Prime Minister Narendra Modi by posting an image of his lookalike on Twitter and accompanying his picture with the Snapchat dog filter.
AIB is no stranger to controversy and have made their name targeting the stars and politicians. However, this particular meme begs the question, has AIB gone too far? Mirror Now report.
Well, that's the question. Has AIB gone too far? Or should we just all laugh this off in general humor and freedom of expression? That's the question we're asking this evening. Let me open it up. I'm obviously going to start with Sujay Kantawala. Legally, where do we stand, Sujay? Based on the law, is this allowed? Is this not allowed?
Look at the intention, the mens rea. A criminal offence has been committed beyond reasonable doubt. Tanmay Bhatt feels that putting something, deleting, again playing the victim, again deleting, he'll get away like every time. But I think Tanmay Bhatt this time has gone very far. He does not realize what he has done. He has, in fact, he has caused grave insult, and therefore it is right that the crime has been registered. And why only one? Any citizen can go and lodge a crime today against Tanmay Bhatt. Look, mindless copycat. This is what it is. Sense of humor is one thing, but you cannot do mindless copycatting and then you can keep on insulting somebody like the Prime Minister.
What is mindless copycatting? What do you mean?
Exactly, that's what he did. He did it with Lata Mangeshkar. He did it with Sachin Tendulkar. That's not sense of humor. Come on, man. Great creative, great original. We respect comedians. That we want to laugh, definitely, no doubt about it. But there's a line. You have to draw a line. And freedom, excuse me, freedom of expression is tempered. The Constitution does not allow you to get away with anything. You cannot disrespect others. And therefore, your freedoms, which you are claiming, they are also accompanied by your obligations under the law. You cannot get away. This is not an open Hyde Park for you to say anything and get away with it.
So the FIR has been registered under Section 500 of the Indian Penal Code, which is defamation, and Section 67 of the IPC, of the Information Technology Act, I beg your pardon, which basically says punishment for publishing or transmitting obscene material in an electronic form. Does this qualify, though, as obscene material, Sujay?
No, listen, I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of the obscene part or not. I'm going on the defamation straight away. Defamation has been committed beyond reasonable doubt. Tanmay Bhatt needs to face legal action immediately, nothing short of arrest and locking him up. That's it.
Okay, so I want to point out a couple of things here, that the tweet or the visual that was morphed and sent out was put out by AIB. Not by Tanmay Bhatt or one particular individual, but by AIB, and the FIR is registered against AIB. Section 500 under the Indian Penal Code is punishment for defamation, and this is what it says. Whoever defames another shall be punished with a simple imprisonment of a term that may extend to 2 years or a fine or both. So, defamation and obscene material in an electronic form, this is what the company has been charged with. But I want to open this up to our entire panel and find out what everybody thinks. Pallavi Singh, young fashion blogger, what's your opinion right now?
I think AIB and Tanmay, they're very smart in terms of they know when they are losing their funny bit. So they come up with something, create a controversy, get on primetime news like this. I mean, you know, it's not even funny, and the amount of attention we are giving them. You know, there are other people who are funny. If they're not being funny, but you are bringing it as an FIR, bringing it as a big discussion, it's not funny, just leave it aside. Don't give them that much of attention. You know, we have such big things going on in the country right now. Mumbai police is tweeting about this picture. There was some girl who had, you know, put up this video where a guy was masturbating and the police has done nothing. So take action on that and don't give attention to something which is not even that big deal.
All right, don't give attention. So, you know, there's a reason why we're talking about this, and I'll tell you why it is, because there is going to be, you know, a sub-conversation that will happen on Twitter, and I'm going to have to answer for it, saying, why are you bringing this up on primetime news? Because these are important conversations to have. Communication changes every day. I mean, there was a time when you only communicated through television or through newspapers, and now there's Twitter, and now there's Facebook that we all have access to. And it's important for us to know, to first have a conversation about what's acceptable and what's not. And it's important for us to know legally where all of us stand, because we use all of this every day. And you should understand where it all stands. Let me bring in Sunil Pal. Sunil Pal is a comedian too. Sunil, क्या आपको लगता है कि AIB की कॉमेडी अभी जारी रखनी चाहिए? ये चलेगा ऐसी जो कॉमेडी उन्होंने बनाया अभी?
सबसे पहले तो मेरा हाथ जोड़ के निवेदन है आप लोगों से कि तन्मय को कॉमेडियन बोलना बंद कीजिए प्लीज. स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियन बोलना बंद कीजिए. उसको आर्टिस्ट बोलना बंद कीजिए. ही इज नॉट अ आर्टिस्ट. वो अपनी चीप पब्लिसिटी के लिए जानबूझकर हमेशा देश के प्राइड जो लोग हैं, जो जिनकी वजह से देश की पहचान है, चाहे लता मंगेशकर जी हो, चाहे सचिन तेंदुलकर हो, चाहे नरेंद्र मोदी हो, या आगे चल के वो किसी को भी, वो अपने आप को, अपने बाप को भी नहीं छोड़ेगा चीप पब्लिसिटी के लिए. तो मुझे लगता है कि ये इनका काम है, क्योंकि इनके पास ये आर्टिस्ट तो है नहीं. आर्टिस्ट आर्ट से कला से ये लोगों को प्रभावित कर दें या लोगों को हंसा दें, ऐसा कोई इनके अंदर हुनर मैंने देखा नहीं। इनके जितने भी मैंने शोज़ देखे हैं वो शोज़ या तो बैन किए गए हैं, या तो इन पे कोई केस हुआ है, या तो इनको लोगों ने बहिष्कार किया है। और ये ऐसे इस टाइप के क्रिमिनल माइंड के लोग हैं। मेरे हिसाब से ये आर्टिस्ट नहीं, ये आतंकवादी है, ये सिमिलर टू आतंकवादी है। और ऐसे लोगों को वैसे ट्रीट करना चाहिए देश के दुश्मनों के साथ जैसे किया जाता है, क्योंकि हमेशा अपने फ़ायदे के लिए, अपने आप को चलाने के लिए, जिन्होंने खून पसीने से अपना नाम कमाया, ऐसे लोगों की इंसल्ट करते हैं। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि ये AIB टाइप की चीज़ें जो है वो हिंदुस्तान में होनी ही नहीं चाहिए। हम लोग भी कॉमेडी करते हैं, हम लोग पिछले 25-30 साल से कॉमेडी कर रहे हैं। हम भी नरेंद्र मोदी जी की नकल करते हैं, हम भी लता जी की नकल करते हैं, हम भी सचिन जी की नकल करते हैं।
तो फिर उस नकल और इस नकल में क्या फर्क है?
FIR तो
सुनील पाल, आप तो जानते होंगे कि कॉमेडियंस तो हर लोगों की नकल करते हैं। वो अमिताभ बच्चन की सबसे फेमस नकल होती है, पीपल इमिटेट पीपल ऑल द टाइम। व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन दैट एंड दिस?
हाँ, तो मैं कह रहा हूं कि वो आज तक हम लोगों ने सब किया है, उसके बावजूद FIR तो छोड़ो, NC भी नहीं हुई, और NC तो छोड़ो, ऑडियंस में से भी किसी ने आकर ये नहीं बोला कि आप ये गलत कर रहे हो या ये सही कर रहे हो। वो एंजॉय करके गए। इवन अमिताभ बच्चन सामने बैठे हो, लता जी सामने बैठी हो, सोनू निगम सामने बैठे हो, या किसी भी बड़े कलाकार को हमने सामने बिठाकर उनकी नकल करके हंसाया है, और उनका आशीर्वाद और उनकी शाबाशी यही पाई है हमने, उनके कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स पाए हैं। ये हमारा ये मैं चाहता हूं कि काम ऐसा किया जाए, ये नहीं कि जिस तरह से
but hang on. So we are currently taking offense on behalf of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has not personally responded to any of this. We are taking offense on behalf of the Prime Minister. What is the difference, Sujay Gandawala, among those people who imitate, who make fun, and this one visual? Let's actually set aside our emotions and look at it coldly. What is the difference?
No, but if somebody makes fun, if somebody insults Mahatma Gandhi, somebody insults Vallabhbhai Patel, why? I need them to come and lodge an FIR. I will lodge it as a citizen of this country. Why should I wait for him to come? I'm going to lodge it. I respect the man. He is our Prime Minister. Look where he has taken the country. Today, Indians are respected all over the world. He is hobnobbing with the top political leaders of the presidents, prime ministers, where we have reached. And this is the way you behave? For cheap publicity?
Would you say
this
that
AIB
emotion
group needs to be banned. They need to be banned because they have taken freedom of expression to an absurd limit. The Constitution doesn't allow that.
That sort of emotion should also be linked to all prime ministers this country has had?
It's not emotion. I'm talking here as a citizen and as a lawyer. And therefore I'm saying that enough is enough. You cannot have absurdity. You cannot have this kind of insulting. Yes, be funny, no problem. Everybody likes to laugh. But there is a limit, there is there is a rekha, Lakshman rekha, beyond which you can't travel.
How can you tell where that rekha is?
No, therefore, it depends on facts of each case. And this is what I'm seeing. He has crossed the line. Definitely, this is defamation. There is no doubt about it. If this person would have not lost the FIR, I would have lost the FIR. What is wrong in that?
Aditya Pratap.
I would differ a bit on the legal aspects.
Okay,
First of all, what are the offences committed here? Offence of defamation is committed, no doubt. However, there is absolutely no offence made out under Section 67 of the IT Act because this post cannot be termed as obscenity. Section 67 clearly says that an obscene item must appeal to the prurient interest. In this case, this is not lascivious or prurient as such. There's nothing obscene in this post. Now, secondly, when the offence of defamation is committed under Section 500 of the IPC, an FIR cannot be registered because defamation is a non-cognizable offence under Section 155 of the CRPC. When defamation is a non-cognizable offence, only a private complaint with the magistrate can be lodged, and when we see Section 199 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, the locus standi lies either with the person who's defamed or by a person who's aggrieved. In this case, no FIR can be filed, only a simple case of defamation can be filed directly before the magistrate, and that too by none other than Mr. Narendra Modi himself or maybe one of his close friends or relatives, etc.
Why any citizen can do it? I don't agree with that.
No, again, the term person aggrieved has to be construed in a
I am
slight
the
rather
person
restrictive.
aggrieved. I am saying this on national TV. I am the person aggrieved.
No,
Why are you aggrieved? But why are you aggrieved? Please tell me why you
I
are
will lodge
aggrieved.
a private complaint.
But
Why I don't need to wait for this FIR? I will lodge a private complaint.
but-
What is wrong in that?
You're right, but in this
When
case,
I
there
notice an
cannot be
offence
an
being
FIR.
committed. I can approach the law.
There
That's
cannot
right.
be an FIR in a defamation case.
Fair
It's
enough.
a false FIR.
Fair enough. I will lodge a complaint.
No,
Let's overcome your technical objection.
that they are at liberty, but an FIR in this case is not maintainable at all.
Okay, so actually, why don't you help us out, Aditya Pratap, for the benefit of our viewers? Can you explain to us what defamation actually is and how it applies in this particular case?
Well, defamation is an act or statement which is committed, which is said or published or put in public domain by a person, by which any person, his prestige, his dignity, his reputation is affected. And the publication should be such that the person's image in society gets lowered as such. So for a defamation case, there are three components. Number one, there must be an intention to defame. After an intention to defame, there must be a publication of an item to the public at large or even a third person. Third is that such an imputation or a publication or statement should have lowered that person's image or in the eyes of society or of another person.
All right, in this particular case, let's say, all right.
But Mr. Narendra Modi should approach the magistrates
I don't agree.
and file a private complaint.
So by that definition, if let's take intention and publication as a given, the third point of lowering an image, has this in any way, Sujay Kandawala, lowered the image of our crime?
It is attempted. One doesn't need to have to prove that. That is for damages. He is talking about damages. If I say that my image is lower, then I can sue for damages. But if the attempt is that the criminal offence has been committed,
so
we are discussing the criminal offence.
Okay, we are discussing the criminal offence.
That's right.
So you believe that there was an attempt through this?
Clear-cut attempt with mens rea and ill intention.
Okay, all right. Nikhil is on the phone line from Delhi. Our phone lines are open. Nikhil, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, Nikhil, go ahead.
Hey, this is Kunal.
Oh, Kunal Kamra is a comedian. Kunal, I'm glad to have you on the show. We're talking about an FIR, which is now a fairly serious deal that has been registered under Section 500 of the IPC and 67 of the IT Act against AIB. Where do you stand on this, Kunal?
I think any joke deserves an FIR. I don't know why are we filing criminal, like the cops have a lot to do. Nothing deserves an FIR. That's nothing, just the meme. Like from more than we as a country come to a place where a meme is getting an FIR. It used to be political comedy on TV for 5 from that time. I don't know what is so now that talk about.
All right, Kunal, stay with us. Kunal says he doesn't know. This is political comedy. He doesn't know what all the fuss is about. Let me bring in Babu Bhai, who represents the BJP. Babu Bhai, आप बताइए, क्या आपको लगता है यहाँ इस पर्टिकुलर केस में FIR दर्ज करना बनता है कि यहाँ पे डेफेमेशन हुई है?
जो पुलिस ने किया है परफेक्ट किया है और वो बनता ही है क्योंकि वो इस देश के प्राइम मिनिस्टर है और 125 करोड़ लोगों का नेतृत्व कर रहा है। यहाँ तक के पूरे विश्व में आज की तारीख में जो नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जो काम किया है, इनका नाम जो है पूरे विश्व के अंदर है और है जो लोगों ने जिस तरह से उनको जो बदनाम किया है, जो जोक्स किया है, वो गलत है। इनको कड़क से कड़क सज़ा होनी चाहिए, ऐसा मेरा मानना है। इस तरह से जो बताया है, और यही आज का नहीं, इसके पहले भी इन्होंने लता मंगेशकर के ऊपर बोला है और जो हमारे भारत के क्रिकेटर है सचिन तेंदुलकर, उनके बारे में भी इन्होंने इस तरह का बात किया है, तो बहुत गलत है और ऐसे लोगों को यहाँ से ही दबा देने की आवश्यकता है और इस तरह का जो काम करते हैं उनको FIR लगाने की भी ज़रूरत नहीं। इससे भी आगे जो भी कड़क से कड़क सज़ा होती है यहाँ इनको करना चाहिए और उसको बैन लगाना चाहिए, जिससे आने वाले टाइम पे और कोई व्यक्ति हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर का कोई बदनाम न कर सके, उनके बारे में कोई जोक्स न कर सके, क्योंकि वो खाली वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर अपने देश का है, साथ साथ में पूरे विश्व का नेता बन चुके हैं और ऐसे व्यक्ति को इस तरह से आप करते हैं, इस तरह से मजाक उड़ाते, बहुत ही गलत है और इसका विरोध जो है।
तो बाबू भाई और दिस इज माय क्वेश्चन टू द होल पैनल। बाबू भाई, आपको भी, क्या आपको लगता है कि ये हर एक प्राइम मिनिस्टर, भारत की जितने सारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स थे, हर एक प्राइम मिनिस्टर को अप्लाई करनी चाहिए ये जो आप बता रहे हैं?
क्या बोले?
ये जो आप रूल बता रहे हैं अभी कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर की कभी हंसी मजाक नहीं होनी चाहिए,
नहीं होनी चाहिए,
तो हर एक प्राइम मिनिस्टर को अप्लाई होगी ये?
हर एक प्राइम मिनिस्टर को होना चाहिए,
हर एक प्राइम मिनिस्टर। Whatever jokes have ever been made about a prime minister should be technically considered illegal.
उनका कोई बनता है ना?
उनका भी बनता है। सुजय, every prime minister that this country has ever had should technically be awarded the same courtesy, which means political cartoons that have been made up till now, making fun of previous prime ministers, Mr. H.D. Devagowda, Dr. Manmohan Singh, this should apply to all of that. Why doesn't it apply to all of that?
Let me stick to the point and in focus that we are having today, the debate. The debate is on a defamation case that has been registered under against AIB as far as what they have done. That is defamatory and the law has to take its course. As far as the other prime ministers are concerned,
yes,
I will have to check up on that, whether the intention was to insult and whether it was pure sense of humor, as Mr. Pal over here said, that he has been making fun in good jest and people have appreciated. That is a sense of humor, that is a comedy, actual comedy. But where you border it on insult and you take it into that dangerous area, then you have to face the consequences. Why? If I and my say something about my fellow advocate colleague on the debate, something that is defamatory, he has a right to take action against me. What is wrong in that? So here we are talking about that kind of situation.
But here, Faith, there is a point to be noted. Now, right, I accept the fact that this post is defamatory. But not every person can initiate a defamation action. Of course, India has a population of 130 crore. But just because 130 crore people idolize Narendra Modi, it does not mean that anyone can file. This is because under section 199 of the CRPC, either the person who is defamed can file a defamation complaint or a person aggrieved. Now, the Patna High Court, in the case of Vishesh Verma versus State of Bihar, held that the term person aggrieved, even with reference to a defamation case, has to be construed in a restrictive manner. Just because you idolize the person who's defamed, maybe he may be some national leader, does not give you the locus standi. However, if along with that,
Prime Minister of the country,
but still, if you are related to that person
and jurisprudence
develops, him, you suffer reputation loss, then you can file a defamation.
Law and jurisprudence, Aditya, they develop. They have to develop with new events, and that's how we lawyers.
This prime minister has different rules. My question remains the same. Why don't these rules apply to all prime ministers? And how is this different from a political cartoon? How is it subjective then to what people are taking offense to and what people are not taking offense to? Doesn't that in some way then tighten the rules around freedom of speech?
So we both agree over here that it's defamatory. Aditya, we both agree that it's
I'm asking you both this question.
But Mr. Modi's relative can file the complaint.
Please go ahead.
So the picture used is of a lookalike. So if you go technically, is it defamation? Because you're going through all of that, because as you said, there have been prime ministers in the past where there's always been some joke. There was jokes about, Narasimha Rao, about Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the way he talks. I mean, I go back to my point. You're just making this as a very big issue and giving them the publicity which is not really required. Well, something can be funny or not funny. It's not funny, just leave it there. Mr. Modi is so digitally savvy. I don't really think he would have an issue with a Snapchat filter.
Right. Well, as far as the photo is concerned, it is still an innuendo. It is defamation, there's no doubt about it. So
according to your description of what defamation is, Aditya Pratap, it has to have come from the aggrieved person. So if it has not come from the aggrieved person, does it still qualify as defamation because some guy decided to take offense? Isn't that true of almost everything? If you went and tested things out in the country because people have such different views, somebody or the other would always take offense.
Right. So that is why the law clearly says that it restricts the class of people who can file a defamation. By the term person aggrieved, it means that the person who has suffered a genuine loss because of the act. Not Mr. Narendra Modi is the ideal of crores of Indians. But just because he is the ideal of crores of Indians does not mean that the crores of Indians can run to protect him in a defamation case. On the other hand, if let's suppose someone is associated with Mr. Modi, his family member or someone, let's suppose because of this act he suffers a loss. He suffers a loss in prestige.
Does the loss need to be quantified?
No. The only quantification of loss is whether his image, his reputation in society and the people around him has been affected or not. Right, a person may be known to even 50 people. if he suffers a loss in prestige or a loss in image among those 50 people because of a defamatory statement, it will be defamation.
All right, and I also, you know, on one case, I still don't understand how this is different from a political cartoon that we see in our newspapers, which let's be honest, all prime ministers that this country has ever had have been in political cartoons. Kashyap Swaroop joins me right now. Kashyap, where do you stand as a writer and a comedian?
Well, I think freedom of expression needs to be absolute. That's the first thing I want to establish over here. If someone is saying something that is obviously, I mean, it's not something that's in terrible taste. It's a very funny meme, honestly, and it honestly humanizes Mr. Modi. If one might see this meme for the first time, you won't even know that, you know, there are past tragedies that are also in the picture that we're not referring to at all. So he seems like a neighborhood uncle, seems like a very nice guy in that meme. So I don't know what the offense is about. Is it the fact that a dog filter has been put on him? I think maybe a more appropriate filter would have been the deer filter or some other filter. But right now, I think it's just a controversy that is coming out of nothing. And what's so bad about being like a puppy? I think that the cutest things there are. You know? Right,
you know, that's a fair point, Aditya. People who use Snapchat will tell you that it's not a dog filter, it's a puppy filter. It's also very popular among children. It's meant to seem cute. It's meant to seem endearing. Yeah. And for our viewers who, and I'm not going to show you the visual on the screen because it offends so many people, but basically there was a lookalike of the Prime Minister who was photographed at a train station. The video, that visual of that lookalike, that one went completely viral. What this particular visual does is it basically says that here is the Prime Minister looking at his phone, trying on different filters and saying, oh, I like this filter. That's effectively what's happening in this particular meme, which has now completely taken on a life of its own. Now, I'm coming back to the point of why. Yes, why are we discussing this? We're discussing this because we have a lot of people who use social networking. We have a lot of people who use filters, and they might make a mistake and wind up with an FIR against them if they're not careful. I actually want to know, honestly, right now, as a user of Twitter, what's allowed and what's not allowed, which is why we have lawyers on this panel. But we have some viewers who've called in. Nikhil is on the phone line from Delhi. Nikhil, go ahead.
I just want to say that first thing at the outset that we are the very less country, and the number of vacancies in judiciary is also very low, so we must focus our energies on more important. And we know that there is no such great crime that Tanmay has done that we can arrest him or any law can arrest him. So if there is no arrest is being made, or finally if will not go into its logical conclusion, so why file at first place? There is no such big crime.
Why waste the time of the law and order machinery by filing these FIRs? Amol is on the line from Pune. Amol, go ahead.
Yes, madam.
Yes.
I would like to ask the gentleman who just said that nobody can make fun of Mahatma Gandhi or the Prime Minister. Well, Amit Shah himself went and mockingly called the father of the nation as Chatur Banya. Where was this lawyer when Amit Shah said this?
Sujay?
I am also Chatur Banya.
So you think that was okay?
This was not. Chatur Banya is okay. He was an intelligent. All Banyas are intelligent, and that's. Thank you for the compliment.
Okay, no, nobody called you a Chatur Banya. So you are saying that it's okay to call Mahatma Gandhi
very intelligent.
a Chatur Banya?
Chatur is intelligent.
No, Chatur to you might mean intelligent. To me it means cunning, no?
Sorry, it means intelligent. Sorry, please change. Please, before saying anything, please, calling in, please see your dictionary meanings.
No, but then it
Chatur is intelligent.
My interpretation can be wrong. My interpretation can be wrong.
Do we have Anila Singh? Anila Singh, can you hear the conversation? I want to just bring you in. And this is, this is the real conversation. We're okay with casteist jokes, not with sarcasm. And the whole point is it circles back to subjectivity. What upsets someone, what doesn't upset someone. Now, Sujay is not upset by the comment made about the father of the nation, but he's upset about this visual. Shouldn't we at some level